Hey everyone, welcome back. Before we get into the battles today, I do want to say that the Android frame drops are still a massive deal. There's a lot of lag in GBL in general. So if any of the gameplay is a little bit less quality than normal just because of like the issues that you'll see the frame drops and stuff, I'm so sorry. It's out of my control. I'm going to try my best here to keep doing the battles to get at least something out for this game, but the game state is definitely not in a great spot. So let's just look at the battles and see what this team that I have here can do. Speaking of the team, we have Mandibuzz, Vigoroth, and Shadow Quagsire. Great League is back, so Vigoroth is once again eligible. This is kind of a team you might have been able to see in the Remix Cup, though. Everything except for Vigoroth was actually available there. Mandibuzz, great counter to Annihilape. Annihilape is back here in the Great League, so having these answers here for Ape to keep our Vigoroth healthy and keep it safe is a very strong thing to have. Let's take a look at the gameplay and see what this team can do. Alright, let's get on to game number 1, see what this team can get up to here in the Go Battle League. Looks like Shadow Feraligatr is the lead. This thing was something that I didn't really miss trying to fight in the Remix Cup, so having it here again is just a little bit annoying. Luckily, Mandibuzz does resist Shadow Claws, but if this is an Ice Beam, it's going to do a lot of our health. I don't really like shielding Mandibuzz a lot because it is one of our bulkiest picks here on this team, right? Big frame drop there, as I was talking about. A lot of frame drops today, so I'm so sorry, if you start seeing these frame drops and it kind of detracts from any of the gameplay, but I think all in all, you'll still be able to get what's going on here. So what we're going to do here, we're going to chip down the Scudro. We don't have a hard Dragon-type answer, so chipping it down with these Dark Pulses, making it so it's in range actually for a huge Mud Shot down from our Quagsire, seems to be a very interesting play here. I know that our Vigoroth could have a lot of play into that Shadow Feraligatr in the back, and I know that up energy as well. Quagsire has played into basically anything that we might be able to see. I'm going to shield this, get the full farm down. It's a little bit unfortunate that they do get to yet another Aqua Tail here, but Quagsire will have a lot of energy coming out of this. Another frame drop, good stuff. And we'll see what they come in with. Probably that Shadow Feraligatr will come back in. Looks like that is what they do. And we'll just throw the straight Stone Edge here, just guarantee that we'll get our shield back. And if we do, then we'll be in a decent spot here, I think. Looks like they do shield that. I would have loved if they no shield, obviously, but we're just going for the guarantees here, going for the nukes. They are actually trying to maybe farm us down, 2-shield farm down. If I would have gone for 2 baits here, that could have been an interesting play, but a very risky one at that. We can swap into our Vigoroth now, just hope there's no Annihilape in the back to punish us, shield up this move, and hopefully get to a Body Slam before they can land another Hydro Cannon. If they land a Hydro here, we take a lot of our health, get almost into the red, so getting this Body Slam off first is critical. We have 3 Pokemon alive, we have no idea what their third is, and as long as our Vigoroth is able to win that matchup, we're in a good spot. It's a Gligar, a non-Shadow Gligar, however. If this was a Shadow, then Vigoroth just straight up wins the Zero Shield matchup. The non-Shadow actually wins the 0s and 1s. I think it only loses the 2s. So the fact that shields are down are actually very bad for me. With that said, we still have our Quagsire around with a little bit of energy. We have our Mandibuzz as well that would need to take an Aerial Ace to get knocked out. So even though we're not in the best of spots, I think we're still in a decent spot here. I go for the Rock Slide, maybe a bit of a mistake. I know it does do more raw damage, but it makes it so they can overfarm a little bit more here. I'm not going to get to a Body Slam anywhere near as quickly, but they still do throw their energy. And I know now I can come in with my Quagsire, drain energy on that, and hopefully Mandibuzz will be able to get to an Aerial Ace and finish off this game. It will be very tight. If they have energy management, then we will lose this game. Looks like they do throw their energy a little bit early. Maybe if they would have overfarmed by a single move here, it could change the outcome of this game, but I think our Mandibuzz is 3 Snarls away, they're 5 Wing Attacks away, and we get the Aerial Ace to knock out this Gligar, the non-Shadow Gligar, almost sweeping our backline, but Mandibuzz just a little bit too quick for it, gets this Aerial Ace and knocks them out. GG's to our opponent. Let's see what this team can do in the next match. Alright, another Dragon type, right? I mean, that's not the best thing for our team to see, but our Mandibuzz is very bulky. I can get to both a Dark Pulse and an Aerial Ace before they're able to get to 2 Body Slams, so I can likely take a shield pretty early here, and once this Dragonair is out of the way, I know that my Shadow Quagsire should be pretty safe. They actually make a very nice catch here on Vigoroth, but with that said, I do want to get some chip damage here. Vigoroth is another Pokemon that's very neutral into this team. I have my own Vigoroth to respond into this, though. I can probably shield once, farm them all the way down, and have energy to go against that Dragonair if it comes back in, or potentially see whatever their third Pokemon's going to be. We get the shield here. They will get to another move if I don't throw this Body Slam, so I will throw the energy here, make it so they either have to shield, or they have to let it go and have a lot of my Vigoroth to still deal with their Dragonair or whatever else is in the back. Looks like it is the Dragonair that comes back in. I think at this point we're healthy enough where they can't actually fast move us down before we do get to another Body Slam here, so either we take both shields, or we're going to chip this thing down very low. We get this Body Slam off at the last second here, critical to get this move off. That way we either get some sort of shield advantage this game, or just knock out the Dragonair. Looks like they do end up shielding that, and now our Mandibuzz can get to another move here. I know that they were almost at 2 Body Slams, so if I throw this move before then, I know that I can get this move off. I won't have to shield my Mandibuzz, and maybe our Quagsire can sweep in the back. At this point, they do throw their first move. I'm probably in Dragon Breath downrange before I can get to another move, so I'll swap to Quagsire here, and I think I'm going to let this move go. It might be a bit of a mistake, but it also, there's a lot of moves in the back that could do more damage than a Body Slam, so no shielding this is kind of like a middle ground play, just in case we need that shield in the back. Looks like they were very weak to Shadow Quagsire, maybe like a Skarmory, maybe a Bastiodon, and we were able to take the game there. All right, Shadow Feraligatr, another Shadow Gator lead. This is a very uncomfortable matchup if they do land an Ice Beam, but we do resist Shadow Claw, right? Shadow Claw normally does a lot of damage, but it is not going to do a lot to Mandibuzz here. And we're going to no-shield the first move. This time it is just a Hydro Cannon, so we don't get one shot. We're waiting for the catch, and they safe swap a Shadow Dropion. Interesting thing to see here. And the funny thing is, this actually does have Aqua Tail, just like Quagsire. So if they land a Crunch, they can probably go straight Aqua Tail after the fact. So that means they're going to be able to start phasing to these moves very quickly. And if they do that, then my Quagsire might be in a little bit of trouble. If I had Mud Bomb, I could guarantee that I'd be able to just one-shot them here, but Aqua Tail probably is not enough to knock them out, even though we're both Shadows. It's not a very strong move, it's not super effective, so I'm pretty sure my Aqua Tail just barely won't knock them out here. It'll put them into Mudshot down range, though, and I know that my Quagsire, especially if I farm this down and have a lot of energy, can put a lot of work even into that Feraligatr that we saw in the lead. Let's shield this up, just see what they come in with. If they come back in with that Feraligatr, we can throw a Stone Edge or maybe some Aqua Tails at them, get some health, get some shields. Looks like we do go straight for the Stone Edge here. What are they going to do? Let it go? Shield it? I'm almost certain they'll shield, but it is a very risky bait. Yeah, they do end up shielding that move, and we can get to an Aqua Tail here, putting them very low. Aqua Tail does way more damage to a Shadow Feraligatr than you might not expect. It looks like it does do a lot of damage. We tried to make a nice combo play there, but they swap at the same time as we do, and they come in with a Typhlosion. Is it Shadow or non-Shadow? Looks like it is the non-Shadow. There might be a chance here that they could actually survive 2 Dark Pulses here, but I don't think they can. After 3 Snarls, we got them into the yellow. I think this should be enough. They might survive on 1 HP. If we get the knockout, which it looks like we can, we should be in a great spot here. They're forced to throw energy against our Mandibuzz. This Hydro Cannon will do a lot. Can we survive it? Just barely, yes, we have the move right now, but we're going to go for the Dark Pulse, go for the guaranteed knockout. Even an Aerial Ace would have put them into counter down range with our Vigoroth, but this way we don't even need to show them our third. Our Mandibuzz can take that backline, beating the ABA Generation 2 starter team. Fun stuff there. Alright, next match, an Azumarill lead, one of the worst leads I could see. I don't really have an Azumarill counter with this team. My Vigoroth and my Shadow Quagsire in the back are both very neutral into this, but I would not call either one an answer to Azumarill. So just safe swapping Quagsire, trying to get a Stone Edge off would be absolutely critical here. If they no-shield this, this is my most damage I can get onto this Azu with a single charge move, and it looks like they do let it go. That's great to see. This Azu is down to half health, and they did build up to a potential Hydro Pump. I don't want to let that through. If they landed a Hydro Pump, I'd be in a lot of trouble, so I do shield it, and in comes the Lickitung. My team has a lot of answers to Lickitung. Quagsire is not one of them. With that said, though, if I can ever switch out of this matchup, I might be in a decent position, because they did not switch out instantly with that Azu. If I can build up energy on my Vigoroth or on my Mandibuzz, then maybe I can put in some work against Azu when it comes back in, or see what their third Pokemon's going to be. We get this third Aqua Tail off on CMP, though, unfortunately, which means I will have to double shield if I want to save my Quagsire for later. What are they going to do? They do let that go, and now it is in counter down range for our Vigoroth. I can swap out here. I know they are switch locked into their Lickitung. Even though I've gone down 2 shields already, I have done a lot of damage to both the Azu here, and I've already knocked out the Lickitung. So their shield advantage might not be as bad for us as it might look. What is going to be in the back? What are they going to come in with? It is going to be a Gligar. This time it is a Shadow Gligar. I was talking about how Shadow Gligar has a much worse matchup in the lower shielding scenarios into Vigoroth than the regular Gligar does. So now I know I can win the Zero Shield matchup here, especially with that counter down that I got against that Lickitung. I know that I can for sure get to this move, make it so this thing has to shield, and now my Mandibuzz and my Quagsire might have a little bit more play now that there's one less shield to worry about in the back. Azu still has a lot of health, though, right? Azu is going to be able to get to a lot of moves. For some reason, they throw the Aerial Ace there. If I were them, I would have gone for the Dig. You can actually go throw the Dig and then Wing Attack down, but now they have to go for another Aerial Ace. Looks like it was on CMP as well. Fantastic position to be in now. We have drained basically all of this thing's energy. They might have just like a little bit of residual here, but we have our Quagsire. We know that Mandibuzz at this point has a lot of play too. They try to go for a nice undercharge there, but we swapped out instantly. I make a bit of a misplay here. I threw the Aqua Tail. He had the Stone Edge. I wasn't sure if I'd get to it or not. I wanted to get guaranteed damage off, and I do make a bit of a misplay by doing that, but we can force him to throw energy here before we get to another one. Another Aqua Tail likely would have got them into range where one Aerial Ace would knock them out. Even though this isn't a great position, I know that Mandibuzz can knock this out with 2 Aerial Aces, and they will only land a single play rough against me. This means that we can survive an Aerial Ace from that Gligar in the back, and even though I did make a bit of a strange play going for the Aqua Tail when you had a Stone Edge loaded, we will be able to knock out this Azu still, have enough of our Mandibuzz left to take out that Gligar, and we should have this game pretty easily still. Make sure they don't catch on us. We want to make sure this move lands so we can get the move against that Gligar later on, and this Aerial Ace does knock them out. This next move, I will get to the Dark Pulse and the Ace at the same exact time. Might as well throw the Dark Pulse, but the Ace might have been enough, and this should knock out the Shadow Gligar, taking us a win on the Azumarill lead. GG's to our opponent. Very fun match, very tricky lead, but, you know, Quagsire is just kind of too good as a safe swap sometimes. Alright, next matchup here, we're going to see the Mandibuzz into the Mantine. This is a very interesting matchup. Mandibuzz obviously very bulky, but Mantine can have that Ice Beam coverage move. With that said, Ice Beam isn't as common as it used to be. Water Pulse is a very likely option because they have a little bit more neutral gameplay if they have that, but they have a little bit more coverage for the flyers and stuff if they are running Ice Beam. What move do they throw? They throw the Ace. To me, if you don't just throw the straight Ice Beam, it makes me really think that you don't actually have Ice Beam here. They throw another move. Is it going to be a Water Pulse? Is it just another Aerial Ace? It is going to be a Water Pulse this time, so now we know the moveset, and we know that our Mandibuzz will easily be able to win this matchup. Throw another Dark Pulse, do one Snarl, and get to another Aerial Ace, and we should get either a knockout or a shield. One thing that we have to keep in mind, though, is that Mantine does love to be paired with Annihilate, and our backline is absolutely terrified of that Pokemon, so if I can try to bait it out, I need to try. I can swap out here to my Shadow Quagsire against a Gligar, another non-Shadow Gligar. That's not the most common Pokemon, but I guess it must be in the Open Great League meta right now. Aqua Tail will either go shielded or do a lot of damage. They do end up using their first shield here, and now I know that my Quagsire can easily survive an Aerial Ace. They almost never are going to go for a dig in this position, and the Ace does land. What are they going to do? Are they going to stay in or swap out? They end up making a catch, but I think that was on the Annihilate. This is exactly what we wanted to do here. We baited out the Ape. We have our Mandibuzz still around for that, and that Gligar, you know, it's kind of annoying for a Vigoroth, but I think we have enough health on both our Mandibuzz and our Vigoroth at this point that we can easily chip that down with both of them. Next Aqua Tail comes through, they actually let it go. Obviously, they are already down one shield, so they probably don't want to go down two. We will actually make a funny play, counter this down with Annihilate. Maybe I should have just snarled it down with Mandibuzz, but we're going to go for the funny play, counter this thing down. How many times are you going to see a Vigoroth take out an Annihilate? And now we get a bit of an energy lead as well. Probably can get up to 2 Body Slams pretty easily. I need to use my shield somewhere. They can throw digs against this. They would have to throw aces against our Mandibuzz, so I'll show up potential digs, but they did bait us. Very nice bait by them. I know I can easily survive a dig, though, from this range, or an Aerial Ace. If they throw ace and I no-shield it, then I'm in a great spot. So let's see what they do. Dig would just barely not knock us out, but they might be able to fast move us down after the fact if they do throw it. Just an ace, we call it properly here, and we have the Body Slam loaded. I think that at this point, we can just go straight for the Body Slams here and take this Gligar out just with our Vigoroth spamming out these moves. Once again, Vigoroth is a very interesting fighter, right? It's not actually a fighting type, which means it actually has a lot more play into these flyers. We have the Body Slam loaded. It might not be quite enough to knock out, but we have enough health on both our Vigoroth and our Mandibuzz, where as long as we land this move, we can get a very easy fast move down. Body Slam does land, 1 HP survive, Snarl down, you know, just for fun, bring back in Mandibuzz, and we can take the match there. GG's to our opponent. Let's see what we have for the next match. Umbreon lead. Okay, well, this one's maybe going to take a while. Umbreon, a very bulky Pokemon, but they instantly swap out to their Charjabug. This means one of two things. Either they have another thing that's very strong into that, into the Mandibuzz in the vacuum, maybe double electric, or maybe they just really didn't want to play that out, which is also totally fair. I know this matchup can get kind of dicey if I go straight Stone Edge, and I know I can win straight Aqua Tail in the 2s, so that's what I'm going to do here, and it looks like I actually do get a shield. If you ever get a bait in this matchup, it is absolutely amazing. It means that I can now go straight Stone Edge, and basically just guarantee the knockout here, or I could still go straight Aqua Tail if I wanted, but we'll go for the Stone Edge. It will one-shot them, guarantee the shield, and yeah, they do end up shielding that. At this point, though, the switch clocks are coming back up, right? That Umbreon could come back in any time now, and if it does, that means that my Quagsire won't actually be able to knock out this Charjabug, and we'll have to deal with it in the back. They do come back in with that Umbreon. I can go for an Aqua Tail here. I'm going to do a lot more damage with my charge moves with my Quagsire than I would with my Mandibuzz. So getting a chip damage off here and then attempting a catch. Looks like we actually must have got it. That was after 4. There is no way this is anything other than a foul play. Looks like we did make a nice catch here this game. And now, even though this matchup is going to take a long time, just that little bit of chip damage that I got on my Quagsire and the fact that I got a catch and that I have a bit of energy as well on our Mandibuzz now, this is a great position to be in. Aerial Aces, as you can see, doing absolutely nothing. We do win CMP over the Umbreon, though, which means that we can be very careful with our energy management, make sure that we always have moves, and make sure that we can always throw energy if we need to. I also know that Charjabug does have some energy left over on it. It's not like at a move yet, but if I can chip it down, put it into Aqua Tail range, then I will be able to resync the switch clocks here. I go for the Dark Pulse. This will put it into Aqua Tail range for my Quagsire. They're not quite yet at the move. They are 1 volt switch away. We can swap, go for 1 Mud Shot, go for the Aqua Tail, and take the knockout against this Charjabug. Now our Vigoroth will not have to deal with this, same with our Mandibuzz, and if that Umbreon comes back in, we have a lot of energy here to throw against it. If we see the 3rd, then we are able to plan around accordingly what is going to happen here this game. Looks like we do see the 3rd, a very awkward pick, so that is why they swapped out of the lead, right? Umbreon is a decent Pokemon into Mandibuzz, but both Charjabug and Azumarill are much better, so they wanted to try to flip switch advantage here this game. Align their Azu against our Mandy, and then try to win the game with their Umbreon in the back. This is a bit uncomfortable, though, right? As I was saying, I don't have a hard answer to Azu, so I can come in with my my Vigoroth and try to make something happen, but it is still very awkward here. I can go for these Body Slams, and the thing is, I know for sure they're going to try to make a combo play here. If they throw another Ice Beam, then they can put me into range where a Foul Play will knock us out, and we have the move loaded now. It is very tempting for me just to throw this Body Slam immediately, but I know I need to swap here, anticipate the combo play. I see that the Umbreon comes in, I swap, and they swap at the same exact time. I catch a second Foul Play on our Mandibuzz. This puts us in a great position, and our opponent realized there's not much they can do that game. GG's to them. I made 2 catches on the same Mandibuzz from that same Umbreon that game. Absolutely critical plays to win that match. Alright, next game here, another Mantine lead, another very neutral matchup. Maybe this one's running Ice Beam, maybe not. Either way, Mandibuzz is a much better and much more consistent Pokemon into this than Quagsire or even Vigoroth. So just having it here is nice to see. Looks like we just get to see early on, it's a Water Pulse Mantine. We don't have to worry about those Ice Beams. And now we're just going to spam out Dark Pulses of our own. 2 Dark Pulses and an Aerial Ace is the play here in the Zero Shield matchup. That way you can get off all of the moves, all of the damage, and then start chipping them down with Aerial Ace later on. We throw the second Dark Pulse. If they shield, I guess that's fine. They end up not shielding. Obviously, you don't really want to shield a move like that. And since they're staying in here, once again, I'm kind of thinking there is a good chance of an Annihilate in the back. I don't want to stay in. I want to keep the energy. I want to keep some health. And we end up baiting out of Ferrothorn? Okay, well, not the thing I was hoping to bait out, but I guess it's here on our screen now. We can go for the Aqua Tail, try to get some sort of chip onto it. We can almost get up to, like, 3 moves here, or go for a Stone Edge, because they do have energy now. And this is not the best position to be in right now. That Mantine is still alive. Mandibuzz, though, has energy on my team, and there is a chance that we can counter this down with Vigoroth, get a lot of energy, and maybe make it go somewhere this game. It'll be very uncomfortable, but I think we still have play. I guess people are really into Ferrothorn after that Remix Cup. I saw a lot of Ferrothorns today. I don't know why, but they were out here. One of the hardest answers to Quagsire, it resists all of my moves as long as I'm not running, Mud Bomb. Obviously, they don't resist our Fast Attack, but Mud Shot is not exactly the best move in the game for damage. What are they going to come in with? It looks like the Mantine does come back in. I know this is just an Aerial Ace here, and I can build up a lot of energy, get a lot of damage with my counters as well. I should actually be able to counter this down before they get to another move. Looks like they realize that. Their third Pokemon is a Shadow Dragonair. It's a good thing I built up as much energy on our Vigoroth here as I have, because now I can just start spamming out these moves. We get the first one shielded, the second one will likely be shielded. Our Mandibuzz is almost at another move, so we can go for one Snarl and an Aerial Ace after we throw this next Body Slam. That Mantine is well within Snarl or counter down range, so as long as we knock out this Dragonair, we should be in a great spot. Looks like they do throw a move. We get a Sneak because they tried to throw instantly, and now we can go for the Aerial Ace. They are not at 2 Body Slams, so we can instantly throw this, take the knockout against this Dragonair, and then fast move down the Mantine when it comes back in. Very interesting backline here. Dragonair in the back is something that you don't see too often, but our team luckily does have a lot of play into. It's a neutral pick into our team, but that's what we have a lot of neutral play for. I like the games with the neutral play. Well, speaking of neutral play, this is a very neutral matchup. This is the Vigoroth into Mandibuzz. They obviously have a lot of counter damage and a lot of rock slide damage, but Mandibuzz is so bulky that even though it's taking a lot of damage here, these non-stab moves are not going to do a lot of damage. With that said, I can wait a turn, make a nice catch here with that rock slide on my Quagsire, get a nice Mud Shot Sneak while we're at it, and make it so this Vigoroth wastes a lot of energy early on. I can go for the Aqua Tail as well. They don't seem to expect that I'll have them move so early. They're staying in as well. Maybe my Quagsire has play into the back, and we can get a shield likely from this Vigoroth. Looks like they do. Are they going to try to make a catch? Are they going to stay in? I go for the Aqua Tail immediately there, because they were at back-to-back Body Slams. If they wanted to throw back-to-back, I wanted to CMP in the middle of that, but they make a nice catch on Giratina Origin. A lot of Pokemon here that we've been seeing a lot in the Remix Cup, I guess, making their way into the Open Great League. I saw a lot of Giratina, a lot of Ferrothorn that we've been seeing today as well. So I guess this is an interesting pick. And the best thing about them bringing in Giratina here, well, best thing for them, rather, is that the rest of my team is so strong into it. That was probably the one spot it could be where Giratina would have any play whatsoever. It was a nice Bullet Sponge here. We can absorb the Shadow Ball here on our Vigoroth. Normal is incredibly strong against Ghost type, so we just resist all of that damage and make it so we have a bit of an energy lead here going into the backline. We do see the third Pokemon is Shadow Gligar. As we've been talking about, the less shields in play, the better for Vigoroth into Gligar. And since they are already down a shield here, I can go for the Body Slams, make it so this thing has to start shielding my energy. And I know that Vigoroth is still in the back. They have 2 Body Slams loaded, so maybe I need to save shields for a potential Rock Slide there. And we do throw back-to-back moves here with our Vigoroth. If we can get the final shield, then Mandibuzz likely can just clean up this game. If not, then I guess we'll see. Looks like they do double shield here. We'll swap into Mandibuzz, catch an Aerial Ace, make it so that they are not able to knock out our Vigoroth just yet. We have a lot more fast move pressure that we can have against their own Vigoroth. And since they are only at 11 counters right now, if they throw a Rock Slide, I know I can shield this, do one Snarl, get to the Dark Pulse, and they won't even land a Rock Slide against me. Looks like that's what we're going to do. Dark Pulse at this point should be more than enough to knock out this Vigoroth. We got a lot of fast move chip on it with the rest of our team, and now this Vigoroth's gone. The Gligar is going to have an uphill battle. They realize that we could easily take the game just getting to a move with our Mandibuzz into that thing, and we can take the match. Next game here, we have a fantastic lead, the Lickitung and the Mandibuzz, but they have a bit of an awkward safe swap for us to deal with. The Mantine, as we've been seeing throughout the whole day, this is probably the best spot for it to be. And the thing is, as long as our Vigoroth is against that Lickitung, we're in a great spot. So we're just going to try to keep switch advantage. Hopefully they're not running Ice Beam. It's kind of hard to tell, right? This one wasn't in the lead. This one is in the back. There's a decent chance this thing's actually running Ice Beam, but no, Aerial Ace comes through once again. I'm surprised they keep going for the Aerial Ace bait. You know, I don't think that you have Ice Beam until you show it, so them baiting so early on is kind of crazy to me. We now landed the 2 Dark Pulses. I can go for the Aerial Ace very soon. We'll take another move pretty easily here, very likely just going to be a Water Pulse. Yeah, it looks like Water Pulse is the moveset on this one. I can survive an Aerial Ace here pretty easily, build up a lot more energy, and have play with my Mandibuzz, hopefully into whatever comes back in. My guess here is that they're going to come back in with a Lickitung after I knock them out, because Licky, at this point, could lick us down, have a lot of energy for a backline, and maybe just sweep our backline. Maybe they think this is our one answer to a Lickitung here. Luckily for me, though, this team has a lot of answers for Licky. We have this Mandibuzz, we have our Vigoroth, and honestly, I'd say Vigoroth is much better into Licky than this Mandibuzz is, so as long as the backline, the third Pokemon, isn't like an Annihilate, we are in a great spot. With that said, I know that Annihilate plus Mantine is a very strong duo sim with Annihilate plus Lickitung, so we will see what the third is. We get almost half of this Lickitung's health gone already. Vigoroth comes in, they throw energy, so that kind of means to me that they're not super strong into Vigoroth in the back. They want to trip me down. What is their third Pokemon? Looks like that is a Charge Bug, a bit of an RPS game here, unfortunately for our opponent. I know for a fact that my Quagsire does just win this matchup in the 2s, straight Aqua Tail. No reason to go for any bait shenanigans here. Just go straight for the moves that I know will be able to win me this game. Go for the guarantees, as I always say. If you're a little bit late on that swap and you go for a straight Stone Edge, you can actually end up losing the 2-shield matchup. It's kind of crazy. Treasure Bug is just so quick, they start outpacing you to the moves. So we're going to go for the straight Aqua Tails here, which we will always be able to outpace them with. And then this first one does end up getting shield. I guess that's the second one at that point. We get denied a turn thanks to that frame drop. We don't get the sneak through. Good stuff, game, good stuff. And hopefully, even with that deny, though, we're still going to be able to outpace. 1, 2, 3, 4 Aqua Tail is incredibly quick pacing, so it's not going to matter that we lost that turn, and they let that go. At that point, once the Charge Bug's gone, I know Vigoroth does just sweep the backline. We throw the Aqua Tail, and then we can swap in, counter down with our Vigoroth, and take the match. So that's why I really like this team. A lot of play into Lickitung, which is one of the most neutral picks, a pick that a lot of people like to safe swap as well. So a very fun team to play into Lickitung users. Alright, looks like we have a Shadow Gligar on the lead this time. Very neutral lead, but they instantly swap to a Water Gun Lantern. We don't actually have a hard answer to this once again. Our best answer into this being our Shadow Quagsire, but since they're a Water Gun user, they have a lot of fast move pressure into us. If they land a Surf, they can probably just farm us all the way down. And I know that I don't really have the best way to just guarantee this matchup. The only way that I know I can get some guaranteed advantage is in the Zero Shield. Go straight Stone Edge, go for the double Stone Edge, hope that they call like an Aqua Tail bait or something, and if they do, then I know for sure I can still have play here with my Quagsire. Looks like they do end up letting it go. Nice. So we keep switch advantage. If Gligar comes back in, I know for sure I could get to another move, but they come in with a Shadow Feraligatr. That's a bit of a scary farm down, but with that said, Vigoroth is very strong at absorbing this energy, making it so the fast move damage is not going to be going like anywhere into me, and that Gligar in the back still has to deal with our Mandibuzz. So this is an interesting scenario. I think we are in a great spot, but with that said, it's not just over, right? This isn't hard RPS here. We have a lot of neutral play into our Mandibuzz, into our Vigoroth as well, so we need to play this very precisely. We need to keep as much energy on Mandibuzz as possible, try to keep us outside of Shadow Claw range as well, and also take care of this Gligar as soon as we can so they can't get any more fast move pressure against their Vigoroth. They throw yet another move. This is going to do a lot of damage, but not quite knock us out. They need to throw yet another Ace, plus get a bit more wing attack damage on us if they want to knock us out. So we will throw the Dark Pulse, guarantee either a shield or a almost knockout. They probably don't get knocked out yet, not quite yet, but we can probably shield their next Ace, farm them down, and guarantee that we have the energy to go against that Feraligatr in the back. This thing is not going to get to another move against us. We can farm them down, and then go for the Dark Pulse, get a guaranteed shield, and now our Vigoroth up so much energy, should be able to get to the Body Slams, the double Body Slam, before they can knock us out. We get the first move here, we'll throw it instantly, and now we need 5 more counters before they get to their back-to-back Hydro Cannon. I know they're actually kind of close, like, to outpacing us here, but I think that we're one turn ahead. These frame drops are not helping my cause. We get the CMP on this Body Slam. They probably have the double Hydro Cannon right now, but we are at the move. We tap that button. We should hopefully have gotten the CMP, looks like we did, and we should be able to knock this thing out, then fast move down that Shadow Gligar and take the match here with our Vigoroth in the back. Vigoroth, one of the best answers here to Feraligatr. Good stuff. GG's to our opponent. Great game. You know, despite how bad the game state is right now, this team was a lot of fun to use. You saw how many frame drops we had in this video, right? If you're an Android user, be careful if you're queuing into the Go Battle League. If you're on iPhone, it's probably easy mode right now. I know you have your fair share of bugs on both Android and iPhone, but it seems like the Androids are disproportionately affected here by the frame drops, so just be careful if you're playing the Go Battle League right now to keep that in mind. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching today's video. I stream Pokemon Go PvP nearly every day at twitch.tv/ItsAXN, so if you want to see this kind of content live, make sure to check me out there. I'm also going to be uploading a lot more videos to this channel, so if you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Take care, and goodbye.